16th. We got Thursday going on, and we are in McDonough, Georgia. Go see about GE refrigerator. Supposed to be leaking. Mrs. Hardaway. These gas stations with one bathroom. This shit got to stop. So I can turn in that box. That bus. A new bus. further. Always a porta potty. You see him in there. Damn, pain. Slapping them up. Get it. For them, what's the name to come up? Henderson Point. Have an agent on site. $300,000 for those. Green. Grand. 300,000. Wow. Join the VIP list. 100. No, I was trying to contact him now.
Okay. Georgia Power.
Get ready to cut him off? You get ready to cut him off?
No, we're just upgrading and changing out the meter.
Oh, okay.
They do it all.
I'm gonna call him and to let him know you're out here.
They do it all remotely now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he'll lose power for just 8 seconds.
I'm good to call and let him know.
Hi. If you record your name and reason for calling,
She's straight to
I'll see if this
voicemail. Go
person
ahead
is
and knock on the
available.
door. Well, that's it. Unlocked, and I'm gonna go to repair. Let's go home. Oh, now I can turn this off. D. That's just not getting there. Delete, delete. Home, son.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Offset Show. Let me know what you think about the set. But anyway, we're going to cover a couple topics. We're going to cover Donald Trump, his threat to Hamas, which I absolutely love what he had to say. Elijah Wilkes, the video camera has been released from the police, and I will show you exactly what this guy did. And then we have Cheryl Hines, RFK's wife. We're going to talk about her on The View. Can you imagine it? On The View. It's going to be insane. And then also, a woman loses her salvation and crashes out at McDonald's. What is she thinking? Y'all hold the phone. We're going to talk about it in a minute. We'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Like I said in the preview, I want y'all to give me a 1 if you love the background. Give me a 2 if you think the background is lame. And if it's lame, it's Nick's fault. Okay? If it's cool, then it's my doing. Okay? No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's talk about Donald Trump real quick. We've seen the negotiation between Donald Trump and Hamas, or Donald Trump, Israel, and Hamas. I think Donald Trump did a tremendous job at this. And the only people that are mad are the people that have Israel derangement syndrome. And they cannot accept the fact that we negotiated peace. They cannot accept the fact that we voted for Donald Trump to do this very thing. And Donald Trump is living out the things that we asked him to do. We asked him to be this guy, and he's the guy, and people are mad that he's the guy. I trust Donald Trump. I trust his relationship with Netanyahu. He's not a fool. He's not a pansy. He's not going to capitulate to nobody. Donald Trump says and does whatever he wants to do, and that's why we elected him. Hope to God that we have another Donald Trump. I think J.D. Vance is pretty close. But let's play this clip real quick of Donald Trump and what his threat was to Hamas, and I really believe that he's going to figure it out. And the reason that I believe he's going to figure it out, because there's no time in history of Donald Trump's existence as the commander-in-chief of the greatest military on planet Earth and the greatest country to ever exist, that he didn't fulfill on his threats. Remember Soleimani? He turned them into ground beef. And everybody's like, we're going to go to war with Iran. No, we weren't. They know better. We went over and dropped the bombs in Iran to get rid of their nuclear program. We weren't going to get in the war. Trump said we weren't going to get in the war. He did what he promised he was going to do. So why do we not trust him now? Let's play the clip of Mr. Donald Trump. Roll the clip.
Well, they're going to disarm, and because they said they were going to disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
How will you do that?
I don't have to explain that to you. But if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games, okay?
They know I'm not playing games. Do y'all think he playing games or not? Now, I kind of, a little bit, just a little part of me wants to see President Donald Trump actually do it. I kind of want them to play around. I want them to F around and find out. And they're going to send SEAL Team 6, or they're going to send a Delta unit, Special Forces unit. They're going to send somebody in there. And I don't know. What do y'all think? I don't want our people to be in harm's way, but we got the best, most elite team in the world. He sent them in, I don't know, 45 minutes. Everybody dead.
Everybody did.
We trained with the Delta unit when I was on the SWAT team in Tucson, and we weren't close to them guys. They were insanely out of control in their tactical execution of raids and everything else that we were trying to do. That's why we trained with them, to learn from them. But they were elite, bruh. I'm talking, they can clear a building full of people in like a minute and a half, like water. They come in and everybody's gone, and then they come back out. I'm telling you, it's insane. That's why Trump is saying they know I'm not effing around. But let's talk about something else that's associated with this, because your favorite people online and in the mainstream media cry every day about Palestinians, about them losing their lives, about innocent Palestinians dying. And what do we have, ladies and gentlemen?
Peace.
What do we have?
Peace.
We have video of Hamas taking people in the middle of the street, lining them up like dogs, and executing them in front of the world. Y'all remember when they say, I was on a debate the other day, and they go, they don't allow media to be in there. Well, how do you see all these kids that people are crying about that's getting killed? How do you see these buildings come crashing down? How do you see the fees on? How do you see all that? Somebody's doing it. You don't need Fox News or CNN to be there for cell phone camera to capture this stuff. There's no media there, and look at what they're promoting. Look at what they have. And now we're not going to show the executions, but you know what's about to happen. There is video out there. You can see it online. Maybe I'll put it out there. You know, when we do, I think we're gonna work with Rumble, man, because we can't show this stuff on YouTube. I think we could do it on Rumble, but we'll show the unedited stuff on Rumble. But look at what they're doing. Roll the clip.
الكلب الثاني فهمي هذه فهمي
They own people.
Now, of course, because we're reasonable and we don't want to show people getting their lives taken. This is what they're doing, and nobody's reporting this stuff. Nobody's crying about the Palestinians that are losing their life in the middle of the street. Nobody's questioning why are they doing this to these people, treating them like dogs, animals. I will quit my show if you can show me IDF doing this. Show me a clip of IDF is taking people out in the middle of the street in Israel and lining them up and blowing them away. There's other clips, but we don't want to show it because they were too graphic, where they're just breaking people's legs. I saw him throw a boulder on a guy's legs and they just looked like noodles. Why nobody talking about this? But we have a clip from one of the representatives from the IDF that's an expert on the topic, and he's going to explain. He was on Fox News, and I'm going to interview him at some point. We already trying to get the Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan to come on to our show. But this is what he had to say on Fox News, wrote a clip. And on that front, the Times of Israel is reporting that since the ceasefire took effect, Hamas gunmen have actually tightened their grip over Gaza and have killed at least 33 Palestinians who are accused of collaborating with Israel. In some of these videos that have been released, these are public executions that we're talking about. This doesn't appear to be the behavior of a group of people who are planning to relinquish power and authority over the Strip.
You are 100% correct. And what Hamas is doing is settling scores. It isn't against people that have cooperated with Israel. It's against various critics in Gaza. It's against people who are trying to rise up against Hamas's oppression. These are Palestinian Muslims. There's nothing Jewish here, and no Mossad agent are being executed, just ordinary Palestinians from rival factions and rival clans, and Hamas is doing what they do best. They are thugs, and they're executing people in town squares in broad daylight, in typical Hamas fashion. Now, I don't know if you've seen it on other news networks. I have not seen this reported in any significant way across most of mainstream media, and I wonder why. Isn't it news when 35 and more Palestinians are executed in cold blood, or is it not news because it's not Israel's doing? But the fact is that Hamas is not looking like an organization that is ready to disarm, as they have committed to President Trump, and they're not looking as if they're going to hand over peacefully the control over the Gaza Strip. That spells trouble for the continuation of this deal. I hope that Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey, the main three sponsors of Hamas, will be told by whoever needs to tell them that the time for games and the time for this type of behavior is long gone. Hamas has lost and they must concede.
Now, I don't understand why people like in the United States of America, because it really don't matter what the naysayers say. Donald Trump is going to do what Donald Trump has to do. That's why we elected him to do it. But we got to do something about this. I know that a lot of people say we don't want troops on the ground, and I don't want troops on the ground. But at some point, this is one of our greatest allies in Israel, and we do a lot of business together with Israel, and we have a vested interest in having peace in the Middle East, because if we don't have peace in the Middle East is going to end up being Europe, and then it's going to come to America. You keep playing, keep acting like y'all know what you're talking about, and then we're going to end up having troops on the ground in a more meaningful way. We're not isolationists. We don't exist in America to act like nothing is going on with blinders on, saying we only worry about the issues in America. When we don't worry about issues that go across the country, then what do? They build stronger forces, they start the plot, and eventually they want the whole country, the whole world, to be under Sharia law. What are you guys thinking? How did they take over Turkey? How did they take over some of these major Christian nations that had a lot of Christians in it, and they've been evacuated because they either killed them or they forced them out, or they are second class or third class citizens. They treat them like dogs. They line up Christians in all other countries with Islamic theology, and they're executing them. Entire villages of people being executed. Scott Jennings had something to say about this too, and I want to play a clip of Scott Jennings because obviously I interviewed him. Y'all should go check out that interview with me and Scott Jennings. I had him here at the headquarters. What a wonderful guy. He is literally CNN's savior. Nobody would even watch CNN if it wasn't for Scott Jennings on there. But this is what Scott Jennings had to say about the whole thing. And of course, the guy over there that looked like he was electrocuted last night, and his hair is frayed. And I thought he was, I used to think that he was a very intelligent, smart man. But then I realized as I get older that he's actually an idiot. And when I say idiot, meaning that he lacks wisdom and he's biased. Wrote a clip.
We don't know what's going to happen next. When you said the guns were silent, I wish that were totally true. Hamas is going around and executing some Palestinians right now, torturing them in the streets, and apparently they plan to execute more tomorrow. I mean, these are bad people. And
Totally agree.
The idea that they're going to de-radicalize or willingly give up their arms, I'm skeptical of. So
Sure.
I worry for the Palestinians, actually, because of what Hamas is now doing to them inside of Gaza. But I've been wearing this pin for 2 straight years, waiting for these hostages to come home, and I've been waiting to take it off, and I'm going to take it off tonight because the 20 people came out, and I met some of the families earlier this year, and I've been following their stories quite closely, and I'm going to replace it with an American pin, American flag pin, because in my opinion, this was a huge victory for the American people, led by our president. But it was only through the power and the force of will of the President of the United States that 20 people returned to their families, that we have the beginnings of the possibility of a peaceful era in the Middle East, and that maybe a future can be had by millions upon millions of people in a place where it's sometimes hard to visualize the future. And so I couldn't be prouder to be an American tonight, because without the United States and without our president, this doesn't happen.
Now, of course, they want to rebut him, but there's nothing you can rebut about that. Because of the strength and power of the United States of America, everybody's safe. And you often got to think, we're a Christian nation. What would Christ want us to do as far as peace relations with the world? Christ would want us to be involved with the blessings that he's given us to have the tangibles to do it. Intangibles, I guess you can say. This is why we exist. This is why we're blessed. I don't know why people don't get this. When you're blessed and you have resources, God does not expect you to hold on to your resource and say, no, it's all about us. It's all about us. We don't save anybody else. We don't help anybody else. We're not going to support the nation that God made a promise to. We're just going to let everybody get taken over. We're just going to let Hamas and some of these terrorist groups take over Israel. That's insane. That's insane. And listen, we are activating or supporting American interests domestically and abroad. How do we miss that? And I tell you what, I can always imagine, I know some guys in the special forces. I mean, I'm not going to say, I'm trying not to be vulgar. If your kids are watching this, just have them skip this one part. Delta and some of these tactical units is a wet dream for them to go over there and eliminate these people. They've been training year in and year out to do this very thing. Come on and play with the United States of America. We already warned you that you better get your stuff lined up, or we're going to come out and finish the deal. And I'm all for what Donald Trump, the commander-in-chief, wants to do in this situation, and I think it's appropriate. Let's get to our next topic, because I want to talk about Elijah Wilkes. Now, his family came out, and Elijah Wilkes' family, and I give them all the credit in the world, because they're one of the few families and attorneys that they hired that were honest about their family members' involvement against a police officer when he lost his life. For some reason, most people lie on their family members. Quit lying about your family. And I tell you this, and it's a scary thing, because one day one of my family members may be involved in this. I think it's very slim, because most of the people in my family who aren't in prison are people who aren't in prison for a reason. And so when you look at the totality of circumstances, maybe one day I'll be covering the story of one of my family members, either being a part of a justifiable shooting, which means that they were acting in self-defense, or maybe they could be a part of something that they did that was stupid. And of course, it's my family member, so I'm not going to get out and bash them, but you ain't finna catch me on here lying and saying he was just trying to get his life together. No, he was cutting up, and we told him not to cut up. Grandma told him 100 times that if he keep living his life like that, he gonna end up caught up. And everybody know, they tell their family the same thing. Everybody know that they got family members that's cutting up, and you telling them 100 times, you shouldn't do this. Don't act like this. This is how you're supposed to behave. You keep selling drugs, you're going to either go to jail or hell. Grandma used to always say that, and great grandma. You're going to go to jail or hell. One of the two. There ain't no lifestyle in selling drugs and acting a fool and committing crimes. But let's play the clip because the body-worn camera footage was released, and I'm going to play what the family's response was after the body-worn camera that we have. So we're going to play the body-worn camera of Mr. Elijah Wilkes, and it's very unfortunate. And I bet you $1 million that outside of his actions on this day, to his family, he probably was a good dude. He probably was the life of the party. Everybody loved him. He probably was a good dude on the inside, but for whatever reason, his attitude and energy of violence perpetuated to a what he probably believed was a road rage incident. But here's the video that the body-worn camera that was released, so there's no question. The family is in agreement, and all you naysayers that say black people just getting killed for being black, here's an example of what this looks like from the body-worn camera. Roll the clip.
Fuck are you doing?
So this is an off-duty police officer, just so you guys know. Now, he probably don't know that.
You should have called it in.
Hit him with the gun.
Stay out of the crowd. Don't move. Walk the street. Stay out of the crowd.
So, this is an off-duty police officer. I'm sure Elijah didn't know he was an off-duty police officer, but still, you don't act like this on a traffic stop. You hit a man with a gun. You pistol whipped him with the gun. And the cop didn't even shoot him then. He backs away. He pulls the gun on the cop like this. And then the police officer had to take action against him. And this should be a lesson for anybody. And I carry my gun everywhere I go. And when you carry a gun, there's a heightened responsibility for you to be reasonable when you have a gun. You don't need to pull that thing out unless it's life or death. You don't pull it out to intimidate people. You don't pull it out to show a level of force to be gangster because the other person may be a better shot than you. It's the same thing about fighting and everything. If you can fight, you avoid fighting at all costs until you have to, because it can be life or death. Now let's listen what the family said. Let's roll clip 4, the first clip of the family's interaction with this or reaction to what they saw. And I got to give Mama or whoever this is, Auntie. I got to give Auntie some credit. It's not easy to get on the news and say he was wrong. Roll the clip. I don't hear it.
We had to live with him as a person.
All right, we got it. We'll roll it again for you guys so you can hear it. Roll it.
We wish it wouldn't have transpired that way, and it did. And my nephew, he made a decision that he should not have made. And that's just something we had to live with. Him as a person, he was a son, a brother, a grandson, a nephew, a little brother to someone, my son, Jeffrey. You know, a lot of times y'all hear about how good an individual was, but their actions don't depict who they were. But in this case, that's really who he was. That day, you know, just a bad decision. And now we have to live with that forever. That's something we have to accept. We're going to accept. Again, we thank the Milwaukee Police Department, everyone who came out. You know, we were seeing buying them out here, you know, like the community really came out. We didn't want anyone to riot, get to, you know, going off about anything. We just really wanted to know and keep things.
And I could imagine the rest of the things she said, and keep things fair. Keep things reasonable. That is 100% reasonable to do. Is to say, we want transparency. that's fine. You don't need to riot and all that, because we just need people to be held accountable. And then they're held accountable, and we see the footage, and we got to accept what we see. We don't need to make excuses. This is who he was. I know some family members right now that they gangster a little bit. And so some of this stuff ain't gonna, they find themselves in situations like this. And I'm praying that none of my family members would do that. But I know people, when they do it, I'm like, I knew he would do something like this if he got pushed. And that's exactly what happened. We got another clip, roll it. Another clip of the family. I think it's the attorney that's giving a speech, which is not Benjamin Crump and all these crooked people that are representing the family. And I'm gonna say this too. I want you guys to notice something real quick. And this is why you guys may partner with me on this. God showed me the other night. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I got a nonprofit organization called In the End We Win. I've never done anything with it. It was a mentor program that I wanted to establish. And God, I feel like God put on my heart, like in 2020, I started in 2020 in the middle of the night while I was in Vegas at the Trump Hotel. In the middle of the night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I started the nonprofit. And it's been on my heart to help mentor young men who don't have dads. That is one of the most important things that we should do. A lot of these young brothers out here, and it's not just black men, but unfortunately, disproportionately is black men. If they only had an example of a black man that was doing something positive, and they had access to programs and things that can uplift them, and they can feel as if they can provide for their families without selling drugs and doing all the old crazy stuff, I think a large percentage of them wouldn't be doing it. When I was growing up and I lived in the hood like this, you don't see a lot of black people doing stuff right. You just don't. In the hood, you don't. Dudes in the hood that are doing something right are selling dope. They rich. Well, they got money. They ain't rich. They think they rich. But they got money. They got women. They got fame. They got clout. That's who you want to be like. You don't see doctors. You don't see lawyers. You don't see educated folk. They out to college. They in college. They not in the hood. And so that's what you perceive as reasonable behavior, because that's all you know. And if you notice, Auntie has something to say. Where's his daddy at? Where's his mama at? Where's his big brother at? Somebody that's a male leader in the family that can say, look, man, I take him under my wing and say, bruh, this ain't the lifestyle you want. It's something better out there for you. Roll the clip.
The off-duty officer followed right behind. Elijah did get out of his vehicle, as did the off-duty officer. Elijah did kind of point to the front end of the off-duty officer's vehicle, kind of alleging that you hit me and caused some type of property damage to the vehicle. And what we see next on the video is that Elijah did have a firearm. He does pull it out, and the video in which myself and his mother Pam did watch today is he does slap the off-duty officer with the firearm. After which the video does depict Elijah pointing the firearm at the off-duty officer, and the off-duty officer did respond what we believe in accordance with his training.
Now, that's what I expect to hear when these situations occur. Just tell the truth. Shame the devil. Don't try to make it out to be the white man out here just killing black people. And his mama was back there. His daddy may have been back there. I don't know. It didn't seem like he stood up and said anything. If anything happens to my family, I'm the spokesperson. And you could tell the prominence of who's really involved in the family or not is the people who speak the most. Mama probably was too upset, but there's no men speaking. And so I hope that in part, this is an example that people should lead by. It's okay when people make mistakes. Hold them accountable. It's sad too, to lose a loved one like that. It's sad. Mama watched her son get gunned down and die. That's impossible to, even if your kid wrong, that's still hard to watch. It was hard for me to watch, thinking about what his mama probably thinking. That's her baby. She gave birth to that boy. She raised that boy, changing his diapers. He's a grown man. He's still a baby. And he loses his life. He's probably 30 something. Now, let's go to two more stories. The last one is the craziest flip out that I've ever seen. But before we get there, RFK's wife was on The View, and you could imagine how that went. All right. It's funny because when there's favorable people on The View, they treat them differently. They question them differently. They respect them differently. And they bring her on The View, and everybody chiming in and try to debunk what she's saying, and everything the woman's saying is right. And I wish she was a little more combative, because when they talk over you, it make it seem like you don't have the power of the conversation. But I think she did an incredible job pointing out the facts that they don't want to accept. Roll the clip.
The problem, respectfully, is that your husband is the least qualified Department of Health and Human Services head that we've had in history. I think that's a very dangerous.
Why is he less qualified than an economist?
I think
How is
that he
possible?
is less
He has
qualified.
spent his career studying toxins, studying people's health, fighting for one guy who was using Roundup for his job.
He has also spread a lot of misinformation, a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion.
False.
And I think it's just a very dangerous thing. I say it with the utmost respect.
Some of it's good and some of it's not. That's the point.
Listen, we all have different views.
Yes.
And when you say, misinformation, disinformation, we could go back to COVID when
He's connecting circumcision to autism.
May I finish?
She's so stupid.
When Fauci were saying when you get the vaccine, you cannot transmit COVID. It will stop COVID. And that was disinformation, misinformation.
We were also still learning about it. It was a novel virus we've never encountered before.
Right.
Because now the doctors will acknowledge that.
And Dr. Fauci has a medical
At the time, they
degree.
were censoring Bobby because Bobby said, where's the science to show us this? And there wasn't any. But people attacked him and said, you're wrong. So it's like, let's take a step back. I know that's your opinion, and that's okay.
But can we, Cheryl, one thing that I think we can all agree on, and you're a big fan of, with
thank you.
is
What can we all
the
agree
MAGA
on?
movement, Make America Healthy Again. You praise your husband's campaign to make food and baby formula safer, which I think is something everyone can get on board with. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you. I am very proud of Bobby, and he has worked really hard to get a lot of petroleum-based food dyes out of our food, which also, and finish the thought, even baby formula, now we're finding out there's arsenic, there's lead. So the question is, who is running HHS when they allowed lead and arsenic in a baby formula? How is that person not
Well, two wrongs don't make a right.
No! Well, I'm saying Bobby is the one getting this out.
I know, good for him. On that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can we clear one thing before you go?
Yes.
Hold on. Stop. Let her talk. Why y'all won't let her talk? Because when she make a point, you try to go to the next topic. No. Answer the doggone question. She said, if my husband is not the most qualified, and you say that he's not, then who's more qualified for him letting lead and all this other stuff in baby formula? This is the thing that bothers me about qualification or non-qualified things. It don't matter what a resume say. If you don't have common sense to employ the things that you allegedly learned, what good is it? Roll the clip.
Or does he not have a brain worm?
It ate just a little bit of his brain and died, so don't worry.
Oh, it's a dead brain worm.
What died? Wait, what? The brain died? Wait,
It's a callback to the campaign.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Look, you've got to read my book. It's just, you will, that was just one tiny headline in a mountain of crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, come back.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Because we don't often get people on this show who we can ask these questions to.
No.
And I appreciate that you came on. And so I'm saying, come back. You know?
My husband was going to come on, and I said, maybe don't.
No, because you know what? If we can have the discussion back and forth, it then becomes
discussion back and forth.
They can decide what they believe, and they're not just hearing one side.
I would love that. Thank you.
Now, they try to retract and back up a little bit because they would get ate up by her on this thing, to be honest. And if they let her talk long enough, she would have just dispelled everything they said. Qualifications, what he's doing for the country. Everybody should be in lockstep with RFK. Everybody should be in lockstep with him. What is he doing wrong? Just name it. Like, I wish she would have pushed back. She was very sweet. She should have pushed back and been like, give me an example of what he was wrong about. What do you know about it? Who are you to say he was wrong? What is your qualification? Y'all not qualified, but you have a lot of opinions. He's doing more than anybody else in this position has done. He's actually fighting for the American people. He's actually not bought and paid for and letting pharmaceutical companies dictate what he will accept and won't accept. Because come on, like my wife, they probably be throwing punches on that show. Ain't no way in the world she'd be that calm with these people. She'd be like, first of all, you a fraud and you a fraud. Whoopi, get your hairdo right. All y'all stupid. My husband is the greatest man that you ever met. You say something else on this show, I'm gonna turn the lights out in here. That's probably what my wife would do. That's why I tell her, don't go on the show, baby, unless you know what I mean? Because I don't want you to be on there slapping these women upside the head. The last story, and I appreciate you guys watching, and thank y'all for supporting the merch that we're doing for Charlie Kirk. We're gonna give 100% of the proceeds to Erica. We already talked to Erica, we've established it already, and we're gonna write her a big old check. I think we're at probably a $500,000 right now. Our goal was to get to $1 million. We still got through Christmas and everything. So y'all got to turn out and show up. Because it's not just selling merch, it's putting the legacy of Charlie Kirk out there for all to see. And then also, this is your opportunity to join with us to help his family. And I got one more story that I want to talk about real quick. And it's the flip out that y'all been waiting for. This woman is out of control. And unfortunately, this happens more often than you think. And it's unfortunate that it had to be a sister, because these unhinged women, and I'm not all women, there's a lot of great women, there's a lot of great black women, but these unhinged women have the audacity to act this way. And this is her flipping out over McDonald's. Like, ma'am, the burger is $2.99. Okay, it's not an investment in a portfolio. You going off on this one, you going off of them harder about a burger and fries than you probably doing your doggone income. You probably don't even got a job. Let me tell you, she ain't got a job. Ain't nobody with a job or a career will be acting like this. Why? Because you don't want to lose your job first. And the other one, you smart enough to not be silly over a burger. Roll the clip.
Who's running the drive-thru? Because my fucking car and I'm gonna move it until I get my food. What the this feel like? Put this mask food on the drive-thru. All I said I want a pickle and no onions and like mac sauce. Don't piss me off. No, I don't know. Like if I was to come in there for problem. What are you talking about, bro? She wants something to She took the order. The order's not coming again until 15 minutes. I want the fucking food. I want the food. She took the order. I want the food.
McDonald's. I want y'all to remember this is at
She
McDonald's.
didn't charge me. She did not charge me for the food.
All the regular black people are looking at her crazy.
Stop that. I want a blood clot. You gonna do about me shopping? That's what the you gonna do about me shopping? What are you gonna do? If you talking to her, shut the up. Because you can't shut up my voice. I wanna scream, I scream. In the face. Yeah. Anybody? Make sure I can put the voice correctly. Yeah. I just said you want to get my phone. No pickles, no onions, like mac sauce. No, when I came in here, it's her attitude. I don't know if she wants to talk about the attitude, but I does it. I does it.
You does it? Okay. This is why. Now, let me just put this in perspective. You see all those black people around there? That's normal. The ones working. The ones who are behind the counter trying to listen to this nut job tell them about an order of some pickles and stuff on her burger. All she had to do, and I've been mad at the drive-thru before, but I'm a reasonable human being. And so I'll go in and say, hey, what's going on? I just want to know, what's the holdup? What can I do? What can I do on my side to make sure that we get this correct? Let me just walk through my menu real quick, because then you have to understand the perspective of you don't own the world, and the world don't revolve around you. So maybe people have made a mistake, and somebody could be in there training. But instead of you being a jackwagon, you could go in there and talk to people like a reasonable human being and say, hey, this happened. And a lot of times you do that and they'll give you a free burger or something. No, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna do this and do that. And some people be a-holes to you, and then you just leave. They got a McDonald's every corner. Go down to the next one. What are you doing? And to be honest, you go to jail. I'm looking at a crime being committed right there. That's called disorderly conduct. You can't scream and be belligerent in somebody's establishment. And then to another crime. If he said to her, ma'am, you're being disruptive in our store and I'm asking you to leave. And if she don't leave, that's trespassing. So she could get arrested, and that's arrestable misdemeanor offenses. One is disorderly conduct and the other one is trespassing. And then if there was kids involved or kids in the thing, she's contributing to the delinquency of a minor. So that's another charge. I'd have came in there and had a field day. And I'd have taken her to jail. I wouldn't even paper release her. I'm like, oh, you want to act a fool? You're going to go to jail. Somebody need to teach you a lesson. Now, just imagine what her kids be acting like. If your mama that silly over a burger, kids probably in the car. They know your mama flashing out and acting like that. Then when they get grown and they start getting in a situation like this, how do they participate in life? And the funny thing is it's funny and it's cute, it's kikiing, we video recording it. Oh, wow, but that make black people look bad. Because a black person at a black establishment acting a fool, treating other black people bad. Nobody's really talking about the people that are around her that are working. You see the other lady, the security guard, the guy back there look like he just came from the gym, the people back there working, and she out there acting like a nut. This is where black fatigue come in. And I don't think it's fair, but I think that if this is the way we behave consistently, people will begin to fear, is this woman with sweatpants on and flip-flops, with what they call Crocs, with socks, going in there whipping her head around? Am I going to interact with a black person like this? So y'all need to get y'all stuff together. That's all I'm saying. Black people, hold other black people accountable. Get your stuff together. Why you acting like that? That ain't how we act. We have dignity, especially at a black establishment. And a black man probably owned that McDonald's. But you in there acting a fool. Doing things you know ain't right. And I wish it would change. We need more black folks to act like the family of the guy that was shot. They come, they're reasonable. It's unfortunate, but they stand on principle. And I believe, in my personal opinion, black people used to be like that. And we have fallen off a cliff somehow, because this ain't the only time stuff like this happened. I grew up in the hood, and I'm telling you, people like this act like this all the time. And that's why I don't live in the hood anymore. And your favorite actors that are black don't live in the hood no more. And LeBron James don't live in the hood no more. Why? Because LeBron James can't go to a McDonald's and get this happening while he in there. Come on, somebody be real with me. They call me Uncle Tom bootlicking sellout coon because I'm standing up for what's right. And they like, well, you don't talk about white people. Well, I'm not white. And the same thing y'all say about white people say something about black people. They go, you ain't black, so you can't say that. Well, I'm black and I'm saying it. And y'all don't want to hear it. Anyway, get your sister or whoever that lady is. And if ever my family member up there acting like that and they get caught on camera, I'm gonna make a video about you. My family know I'll make a video about you. I love you, but I'm gonna make a video about you. You're gonna be featured on Officer Tatum video. And I'm gonna tell it like it is. That's my aunt, and she did that and she wrong.